I'm clicking.
Ding.
It's begun.
Welcome to the Brothers Game Podcast with me, Nikolai.
And me, Brian.
Nice. Good yes-anding, Brian. Well
Yes.
done. Welcome to the Brothers Game Podcast. Like I just said, in a really cool voice.
Yes.
Brian, you're recording a podcast.
About an hour
mere
after
moments.
a root canal.
Mere moments after a root canal.
Yep.
That's wild to me.
This
I'd be
is
like, I ain't recording today. That's what I would be like. So.
This is my fourth root canal.
Yeah, yikes.
Thankfully, I have not
had
had
two.
to.
I get
I
it.
haven't had to have any like redos on any teeth, so that's
Right.
good. These
That's
are
good.
4 distinct areas of the mouth
Yeah.
that got root canals. Don't drink soda. Just don't. If you
Ever.
drink any soda, no, I'm serious. There's no, it's not worth it.
It's not
I
worth it.
destroyed my teeth with soda,
Messed up.
and gained a lot of weight, and
as
had
a
a bunch
teenager,
of throat
same.
ulcers as a teenager.
Yeah,
like,
no, for real. I mean, I only had
stop.
the teeth thing as a teenager, but
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely. Yeah. My teeth were also ruined by soda. So
Yeah, just drink water.
drink some water.
It's boring, but it's good for you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Sugar-free stuff isn't as bad for your teeth.
no,
It's not really good for your body, probably. But
Yeah. No, I drink seltzer water now.
Yep. Yep.
I like
You drink quite a lot of seltzer water, don't you? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. Do you... Is it one of those things where it's just sort of a mindless, easy thing to do? To just keep chugging them down? Or I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
We've
that's
always-
how it was with soda.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
we've always been people who like drinks.
Yes,
Having drinks
and
around
the
a
bubbles
lot.
are nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm as you know, I'm a huge coffee guy.
Right.
And I always think, I'm like, am I just like addicted to caffeine or is it coffee, you know? But I think it really is the coffee more than the caffeine.
Yeah.
Because I drink almost as much decaf at home as I do regular.
It's just like the taste, the
Yeah,
sensation,
it's just-
the
It's the
or
taste.
whatever, yeah.
Plus, I have all that equipment and stuff, so it's
Yeah.
the ritual of doing the pour overs and stuff.
Yeah, I
it's just
get
kind of
that.
fun, you know. It's
Yeah.
one of those things.
I kind of wish I was a coffee guy. I just do not like it.
But it,
at
yeah.
all.
And if you don't like it, then you just don't like it. Yeah.
And like, it's not even just the bitterness, although that's a big factor. I also just don't like the flavor of coffee.
Yeah. Such a shame. Anyway, that's that. Welcome. Thanks for listening to the Drink Podcast.
Yes.
Dude.
We could talk for a while about drinks.
Because
We are
we've always
beverage
been
guys.
drink people.
And we don't even drink alcohol, and we still
Exactly.
have enough to talk about.
Neither of us
because-
drink alcohol at all, for many reasons, really, which we won't really get into. But there's just something. It's the social aspect, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And it's just something to do.
Yeah.
Sort of.
I don't know. I just like,
Tastes good.
yeah.
Tastes good, don't
It's
it?
like no matter how full or hungry you are, you can pretty much always.
Yep.
There's always room for more liquid.
Yep. I was one of those kids who drank their dinner or whatever.
Yeah.
Would
Same.
way rather drink the drink that's sitting
And-
there.
And like, I remember seeing a comment where someone on a like Reddit thread or something where someone was like, "Hey, I think it's really weird that I come across Americans who say they don't like water." I'm like, "Oh yeah, that was me in high school.
For real. It's a lot of people.
I would drink anything but water.
Yeah.
Now I drink quite a bit of water.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Well, when you, like, I have, a good Brita filter and stuff. And, like, if it's good filtered water and you're thirsty,
Yeah.
I think it tastes amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
it's kind of boring, but it's like, especially when you like grew up on like Sunny D and
Sure.
and, stuff,
just
and
juice
soda
and-
and yeah.
Yeah. Juice,
It's
which
like
is
there's
just soda.
so
just
many
not carbonated.
better tasting things, but
Yeah,
like
it's true.
water's so much better for you.
Yeah. Which is why I do a lot of coffee and tea.
Yeah.
Because I take them, straight. Like, it's not with milk and sugar and stuff.
Right.
So it's like, actually healthy too. Like,
Yeah.
and, even though they have some caffeine, it's still hydrating and all that. So that's good. Yeah. I always think about us walking on the sidewalk between our apartment complex and the candy store, as we called it.
Yeah, there was a mini mart
This
very
is when
close.
we were young. When he was a teenager, I was a young teenager.
We grew up in an apartment complex, and there was a little strip mall very close by.
Yeah.
Actually,
Still there.
There was a pizza shop in there that I worked at for about a year and a half.
Yep. Yep.
But there was a convenience store there.
Which is still there, I will say.
It was the Food for Less Mart, but
Yeah, something like that.
then it became the #1 food for Mart.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
I love it.
Anyway, and they had dirt cheap soda and candy, and so we would just called it the candy store, and we'd go there anytime we had any loose
change or whatever. Yeah,
because for $1 I could get 64 ounces of soda in a 7-Eleven Extreme Gulp.
Yep. So yeah, we went to the Extreme Gulps, which were super cool.
Yeah, and dude, that's
it's so much so.
That was
it
so
is so
terrible.
absurd.
But
because I literally remember not even really enjoying it. Like once you're halfway through one of those, it doesn't really taste good anymore. I feel like. Like, but we did it anyway.
That's actually like. That's one of the things I loved about the little tiny, like short Pepsi cans, the ones that are only like 6 ounces or whatever, because then it's fizzy the whole time.
Yeah, it tastes way better. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'd get one of those and a couple of Laffy Taffy sticks, and because it wasn't good.
All candy all the time. Because the soda wasn't enough sugar. I need a bunch of candy also.
Well, the problem is like when you're used to soda, it doesn't even taste that sweet.
Yes,
and so even though it's loaded with sugar, if you want something that actually tastes sweet, you generally need like candy or something. Because once you're used to soda, it doesn't really taste sweet anymore.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I drink soda much more occasionally now. I still drink it occasionally, but
I pretty much never drink actual like soda with sugar in it or anything. And I tend to stay away from sugar-free soda because it just tastes weird.
Yeah, I know you don't.
And it's like if I'm gonna have that, like I'd rather have the kind that tastes good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's funny because I drink it rarely. It tastes much better when I drink it.
Yeah,
because it's not a constant thing.
Yep.
So anyway, that's soda talk.
Yep. So,
soda talk with Brian and Nikolai.
I've been working on my video game collection. I mentioned this in the last episode, so it's all coming together now.
Love it when a plan comes together.
Yes, all of my games have cases of some sort now.
Yes, which is cool.
And so everything except my original Game Boy games have cases with artwork.
Yep.
With with the booklets and stuff.
Very
so like.
Cool.
I think I mentioned the last one, Bloody Roar 2. It was just in a Blockbuster case with an index card that had handwritten Bloody Roar 2 on it.
Classic.
And so I could not find any original cases with artwork that were at a reasonable price.
Priced,
So I found someone on Etsy who did repros, and he did a pretty darn good repro.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
The front looks just fine, and the back like insert is in there too, and that looks good.
It has like a cool like stun artwork and stuff.
Yeah,
and, super cool.
That's nice. And then my Game Boy games are just in clear cases because, of course, they came in cardboard boxes.
Yeah, those little clamshells though that they used to come with. Yeah, which are cool. That's at least something. Yeah. A dust cover, basically.
Yeah.
So
there's no way I'm spending like $200 on an original Pokemon Red box.
Just not worth it. Yeah, not worth it for the old stuff. Yeah, it's funny. I was just looking at my. As a gift, I got a Japanese copy of Blue, Pokemon Blue, from a few years ago. And it's like from Japan and in the box and everything. And it's super nice. Like the box is in okay condition, but the game itself looks brand new. Like I don't even know if it had been played. So it's pretty cool.
When I was a kid, I remember other kids talking about green version and me going, I want to play it. And not realizing that it's just a buggier, glitchier version of Red or Blue with slightly worse sprites.
Exactly.
But I kind of still want to play it. I think I might look for a ROM of green.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've never actually. I don't think I've ever played it.
I've only played a couple of games that were actual Japanese copies of the games,
Yeah.
and never
Yeah.
physical, but just like I've played a few ROMs of Japan only games. Sometimes with user made English patches, and
Yeah.
sometimes not. Sometimes I just had to not be able to read most of the
Yep, it happens. Yeah, I
text,
wanted to
but-
get one of those. I still might. They make like repro cartridges of Mother 3 with the English patch like put into it.
yeah.
So you can basically play a real English version. I was thinking about getting one of those and finally playing that because I love Earthbound. So, and I've heard Mother 3 is pretty awesome. So,
Yeah.
because I doubt we'll ever get a real.
Right, which is so weird. Like, there's
mean,
so much demand for
Now
it.
it's possible, right? There's the Game Boy Advance thing
Yeah.
on the Switch Online now. So I mean, it's possible, and I mean they did that with Star Fox 2. They brought that to the SNES Classic, and it's the first time it's ever been released. Not even in Japan, but released ever. Like
Yeah.
it was never ever released. So it's possible,
Yeah,
but it's sort of like the Half-Life 3 thing. It's
yeah.
just like
the thing that will never be,
just never be, never be.
nevermore.
Ooh,
Quote the
speaking of
Raven.
Steam, I did finally get my Steam working
Yes, you finally got back into your account.
after much toiling with multiple customer service email people, and because it was old, I hadn't been in it in many years.
Right.
Like, so I had access to the email still, but that's it basically.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even know what card and address were on the account. Like, I had no idea. I eventually found an old email receipt from, like 8 years ago.
Right.
From Steam, from a game I bought. And that was enough to
Oh, nice.
for them
Okay.
to verify it, because it had the ID or whatever on there. So yep, I got in eventually. I still had login errors even when they restored the account, but when I logged in on the website instead of on the Steam client, then I could log in, and then I sort of reinstalled Steam basically,
Yeah.
and then tried it, and the client worked. So
Nice.
yeah, it eventually all came together. And it was cool, perfect timing, because Newegg was having a sale on some games, and I got Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2
Nice.
for like $3,
Nice.
both of them.
I love
so that was super cool. And so with that, I wanted to get some controllers working with the computer. So I tried my I had an old like GameCube controller adapter for the Wii U. The one with the 2 USB ports and stuff.
Right. Okay.
And tried that in the PC. Totally worked.
Nice.
No problem. So I can use our legit like platinum GameCube controllers on the PC.
That's awesome.
And I also have a really nice 8-bit Do controller. That's like a Super Nintendo controller, but with control sticks. It's pretty cool. But it's always Bluetooth. And I was like, so I don't know if I can make this work without like a dongle or something. But I tried just plugging it in through the charging cable. Charging cable to USB. Totally worked. Worked instantly.
Nice.
So I can just use it as a wired controller.
Perfect.
Which is perfectly fine. So so I have 2 really good controllers that I like, basically, that I can use on the PC. So that's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of a retro tink?
Retro Tink?
Yeah.
Maybe. I
This
think
is
I've heard of it.
apparently
Maybe.
a module you can put in between your N64 and your TV to upscale it.
Oh, yes. I've heard of these upscalers.
Yeah.
I've heard of a GameCube one too.
I was interested in maybe trying that
yeah,
because now
I think
I'm
they're
using,
really expensive.
yeah,
kind of. But
because I'm now using an LCD with my
right.
N64,
Right.
so might make it look a little better.
Yeah, it might be
possibly.
worth looking into.
I've never cared a ton about that, but if I can get this little doodad and it makes
Yeah.
the games look better, then that'd be great.
Yeah. It's funny, you don't realize how bad old games look on new TVs until you go back a little
Yeah.
bit. Like not that long ago, I played Paper Mario on
Yeah.
the N64 on our little CRT that we have,
Uh huh.
and I was blown away by how good it looked.
Yeah.
Like, because the fuzziness sort of rounds out the pixels, basically, right? So
Yeah.
just like you're like, this looks way better.
Dude,
I was like kind of blown away.
It's so funny because like I was trying to get away from CRTs.
Right.
And part of that
they're
is
old.
because
Yeah.
so I've
Giant,
got such a
heavy.
wide range of generations of consoles. Like
Exactly.
I have everything
Yeah.
from I don't have anything older than the 64, but I have an
Mm-hmm.
N64 all the way up to an Xbox Series S.
Right.
And like
Most everything in between. Yeah.
everything 360 and later looks kind of not that great on a CRT.
Right.
But obviously everything like especially GameCube and older,
Right.
and especially older than the GameCube, looks good on CRT.
Yep.
So it's a interesting balance.
Yeah.
And we had like 4 or 5 CRT TVs
Like
in this
good
house.
CRTs,
and we
yeah.
finally got rid of them. And if I feel like it was only months later that like they exploded in popularity
Yeah.
all of a sudden.
And I was like, now I'm like, I'm kind of glad I have one. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me wish I had kept just one of them.
maybe just one. Yeah.
I mean, even just to sell it
Sure.
for more than I paid for it 10 years ago.
For sure. Yeah.
Or 15 years ago. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of all that,
Mm-hmm.
just one other Steam thing I actually had to say was, they just announced that the Dolphin
Right.
is
I saw
coming
that.
to Steam.
Yeah.
the Dolphin emulator will have an official release on Steam.
Which is interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I totally want to get it through there though, because like, it's always really annoying with emulators to me about like, am I downloading the right one? Like,
Yeah.
is this even the right forum to be
It
downloading
is
it from?
interesting,
And
especially like with
all that stuff, you know?
especially with like VBA.
yeah,
Because it's weird. It's difficult to find the latest version, quote
Yeah.
unquote.
and is
because-
the latest one even good?
Yeah. Like I have two
annoying.
I have 2 versions of it, and they're like at least 7 years apart.
Yeah, if we're gonna be like, peek behind the curtain, if we're gonna be streaming,
Mm-hmm.
emulators and stuff, I want to know emulators a little better,
Yeah.
and like figure out what really works, and like, it's all a bit of a mystery to me still.
Yeah.
But I love that it'll be on Steam and it'll just have
Yeah.
real updates and just stuff like that. That'd be really nice.
Knowing that nowadays there is such a strong community of retro gamers who like to tinker and mod and create cool stuff, I'd really like to look more into things like this retro
Yeah.
tink and other things that improve the experience beyond even like the original experience. Like I want to even look into some of those those controllers where they actually like try to make them even better than the stock by like being super picky about the button actuation
Yep.
force and the like stick sensitivity and all that. I'd like to look into that a little
Yeah,
more.
I mean, there's people who make like $100 super premium sticks for the N64 controller.
Yeah.
Like those are things for sure. So yeah, there's a community for everything now, basically. Yeah. I was looking into the 3DS scene and like the homebrew and all these things, and a lot of people are using mods, like hardware mods on a 3DS that actually like basically they put a capture card in the 3DS itself
Yeah.
and have a USB port that they've added that goes to your computer, so you can just play a real 3DS and capture it at the same time. And so I'm looking into those a little bit
Yeah.
because I don't really want to homebrew my consoles yet,
Yeah.
maybe someday, but I'm sort of wary of all that a little bit still. I kind of like things being official sort
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
but I
especially
wanna
with
look into
anything that goes online, you want to be careful not
Yeah.
to get it banned or anything.
But speaking of, not really an issue as of like yesterday.
right, for the 3DS
so,
and older. But
Yeah, 3DS, the shop did just close. And so, which is great because Pokemon Bank is free now, which will be very good for me because I'm doing my 3DS era National Dex thing still.
yeah.
But it's funny, now that that's closed and the 3DS is sort of becoming retro, because it's been around for a long time. It's pretty old. Um, I'm like really glad I have every 3DS Pokemon game
Yeah.
because I have every single one now. I have all 8 games basically, right? X, Y, ORAS, Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, because I know they're going to go up in price now,
Yeah.
100%. So like until now, Sun and Moon has been by far the most prolific and inexpensive Pokemon games. They've been consistently under retail used since since they came out.
Yeah.
Like you could get them for 25, $30, right? They are now 50
Wow.
as of yesterday. They have already jumped to now over retail just because of
Oh
the
yeah,
shop
just because
closing.
the shop. Yeah. Wow.
So now, and they're going to stay. I doubt they're going to go below that. So for you, I highly recommend getting Ultra Sun or Ultra
Yeah.
Moon right now before they're $80.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's just how these. It's kind of silly, but that's absolutely how these markets go, especially with Pokemon games. Like, I really thought it was sort of peaked with older games, and it's sort of just going to go down, but it still hasn't happened with like Heart Gold and Emerald and games like that.
Yeah.
Like just a couple of years ago, Crystal was like $50 or whatever for the cartridge. Now it's over 100,
Wow.
and it hasn't gone under 100 in a while. It's like it's kind of absurd how it's going, but yeah, that's how it be.
Cool. Well, speaking of Pokemon games,
Pokemon.
I finally went back to Pokemon White 2 and did the whole part between the last gym and Victory Road of defeating Team Plasma again and defeating Kyurem, stopping Kyurem, and now I have reached Victory Road. That's about it. My team's in the mid 50s somewhere. I'm kind of missing having a ground type. It would be nice to have one, but I'm already so far. So I don't know.
Yeah, can you get the Earthquake TM anytime soon? Is it nearby? I wonder.
I don't remember.
I don't know where it is. In Black 2, White 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My Samurott now knows Ice Beam,
Nice.
which will be useful against any dragon types I come across because, of course, this is still pre-Gen 6, so no fairies.
No fairy. Yeah, man, fairy is so busted in X and Y. It's insane. Like my Gardevoir with Moonblast.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. Yeah. Sweeps everything, basically.
My so I don't have any fire types, so my own or ground types. So my only anti-steel type is my fighting type, my Lucario.
Oh, Lucario, yeah. I mean, he's great. So.
And he's also weak to fighting,
weak
so
to
I have
fighting
to be
also.
careful with that.
You gotta be
yeah.
careful. Yep. I always forget that, basically. It's like, that sucks.
Yeah.
It's definitely his biggest weakness. Yeah, I pretty much sweeped the champion and everything with Gardevoir. I think I just set up like 2 Calm Minds and then just, one shot every single.
Yeah. I'm missing ground, fire, and psychic, and not having any of those 3 is a little rough.
Yeah.
It would be nice to have any one of those 3. Fire probably the least so, because I have alternatives to fire for almost everything that it's strong against. I have fighting against steel.
Fighting
I have,
and flying usually
flying
covers
against,
it all. Yeah.
fighting and grass. But having a psychic or a ground would be useful.
Do you have an Unpheasant or?
Yes, I have an Unpheasant.
Nice. Yep, I like Unpheasant a lot. Yep, Gen 5's got some good Pokemon, man.
Yeah.
I've got, so, as you know, I'm completing the National Pokedex in X and Y, which is 721 Pokemon. I have it right here. I'm at 61% of the entire Pokedex, which is 440 Pokemon. I have almost completed the Kalos Pokedex.
Yeah.
So I've almost gotten every single Pokemon available in X and Y, basically. And so I'm basically just grinding to evolve stuff right now.
Yeah.
Which I don't have that much to evolve left. And so this is where it's going to get difficult. Basically, I'm doing the easy part right now.
Yeah.
The last 200 Pokemon are not going to be easy.
What was the name of the Sword and Shield region again? Can you remind me?
Galar.
Galar. Okay. So I have completed the Kanto, Johto, Alola, Galar, Paldea, and Legends Arceus Sinnoh
Hisui.
Hisuian Pokedexes.
Yes.
I have not even attempted any of the others.
Yeah. So, I mean, X and Y has one of the biggest because it's like 450 or something.
Yeah.
Which I think Galar was only like 300 or something. So like, well, I know Paldea is 400, right? I think something like that.
I couldn't remember.
Something like that.
It's around there.
But yeah, it's a lot. And so like between XY and Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, you can get every Pokemon, the entire National Dex, technically.
Yeah.
But most of those, some of them, I shouldn't say most, but some of them are like weird. Because in X and Y, you have the Friend Safari, and in ORAS, you have the Mirage Islands and Mirage Caves and stuff, which are basically random. And the Friend Safari in X and Y is only if you have friends on your friends list on your 3DS, and then whatever friends you have is completely random what Pokemon show up there. So you could get maybe something you don't have, but it's rare, basically. It's unlikely. And so they are not reliable methods at all, basically. And so I'm not going to rely on them. I'm pretty sure I'll have to go back to Platinum and White 2, get some Pokemon there and transfer them all the way up, which you can do. It's just an annoying process, basically.
Yeah.
So especially for some certain legendaries, I'm going to have to do that. But I think regardless, I'm going to have trouble with some starters.
Yeah.
Because you can technically get all the starters in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. Because after you beat the game, after you become champion, you can get, I believe, the Johto starters from Professor Elm, but only one of them. You get to choose one. And then after you beat like one of the post-game things, you can choose like a Gen 4 starter, one of them. And then after like the post-game thing, you can get like a Gen 5 starter or something. But only one of them. And so I would have to play through the entire game, including all the post-game stuff, like 3 times to get them all through that method. So I'm going to do everything I can to not have to do that.
Yes.
But I do have Alpha and Sapphire. So Alpha, Sapphire, and Omega Ruby. So I'll at least have 2 playthroughs because I have to get some exclusives anyway. And so I'm hoping to just get, I haven't looked into it deeply yet. So hopefully I can get some starters from Platinum and Black 2. And then the last thing, my last hope, is Wonder Trading. If you remember, Wonder Trading
Oh, yeah.
was first introduced in Generation 6. And Wonder Trading now is very weird.
Yeah.
Because, first of all, it happens constantly. I don't have to wait more than a minute to link with somebody and Wonder Trade. Like, clearly there's still people Wonder Trading in these games, which is pretty cool. But half of them are not, I feel like, not real people, basically. It's like, Kizuki.tv is Wonder Trading with you, and it's like a Hoopa or something, or like a shiny legendary of some sort that's level 100 that has a Master Ball, and you're like, that's not a real Pokemon. you put that in there. And so the great thing about that is if I get Wonder Trade or something like that, it's registered in my Pokedex as a real Pokemon.
It counts.
It counts. So I can just release it just in case because I don't trust it. So I release it immediately, but it's in my Pokedex now. So I actually have Hoopa because of that, which is a mythical that you cannot get at all. It is impossible to get right now. So you have to go back in time basically if you want it. Like no, even the DNS hack thing doesn't work for that. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. Thankfully, to get the national decks like in the game basically, because in X and Y you get the shiny charm
Right.
if you complete the national decks, and you don't actually need mythical Pokemon to do that because they know that they're event only basically, and so it would be impossible at this point. So I think, but because of the DNS glitch, or not glitch, I guess, but the hack in Platinum and Black 2, because that you can get to work. So in my Black 2 copy, I have an event Genesect, I have an event Meloetta, like these Pokemon that are impossible to get basically. And so I do have those that I can trade up, which is pretty cool. I think all that I'm missing is Victini and Diancie, the like jewel Pokemon. And maybe Volcarona. Not Volcarona. That's a regular Pokemon. Volcanion. The one with like a hoop on it that's water fire type. The only fire water type.
Okay. I know I've seen
It's
it
like
before,
that
but I'm struggling to remember what it looks like.
Pokemon. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, that's where I'm at. 61%. I just evolved like a Dragonite last night, I think. I got all the breeding done.
Yeah.
So like there's a few that you can only catch in later stages, so you have to breed them to get their previous ones.
The first time I completed the red and blue decks without cheating, the thing that took the longest was getting Dragonite.
Yep, man, it's a slow grind, that one. So I've looked at a few different grinding spots, and right now I'm just using hordes in Victory Road.
Okay.
So what's kind of cool is if you have a Pokemon with Sweet Scent, you can use it outside of battle, and it'll make a horde encounter appear.
Nice.
Always. And you can just use it over and over, which is awesome. And so if you have a move that hits all opponents, you kill 5 Pokemon at once, which gives much more XP than killing one. And in Victory Road, Floatzel hordes are pretty common, and those give around like 5,000 XP.
Yeah.
When you kill a whole thing.
Okay.
And of course, with the Gen 6 EXP share, you can get your whole party XP. So it's not a terrible grind. It's been fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Which is what I just said.
I think
Pretty cool.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
And I finally got like a good Pokemon with Sweet Scent, so I didn't have to have like a Vespiquen and then my Flygon with Earthquake to actually kill everything.
Yeah.
I got Venusaur, which after like I was grinding, smashing rocks for like half an hour to try to get a single heart scale to make it remember Sweet Scent. But I got it eventually.
There was a point
that was a nightmare.
in White 2. I was walking around and I had all this stuff in my items, and so I just sold like all of it. And like I'm sure some of it would have been useful if I was trying to do certain things in the game, but I'm just trying to complete it.
I'm just gonna beat it. Yeah, exactly.
So I sold like heart scales and stuff, things that I'm sure I would really want to have if I was trying to accomplish certain things. But yeah,
sometimes remembering moves is super helpful. So
just wanted to empty out the item list.
I get that.
And as usual at this point in the game, I have way more money than I will ever possibly need. So I just bought like 99 repels because there's nothing more annoying than going through a cave and just encounter after encounter after encounter.
It's the worst. Yeah. I will say yesterday I got 2 shiny Pokemon.
Nice.
While grinding, I got a shiny Floatzel after grinding these Floatzel hordes because you have 5 chances. It's 5 Pokemon at once, so the chances are pretty good actually.
Yeah.
So I got a shiny Floatzel. That was cool. It's not a bad shiny. He's like yellow, and his like floaties instead of blue are like white. He looks kind of cool. And then every once in a while you'll hit a Geodude horde too. and I got a shiny Geodude also.
Nice.
That was actually insane. So it's like a bright gold Geodude.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
I mean,
that's your
that
one
was my
shiny.
first
Yep.
legit shiny.
In heart gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, which yours was twice as rare as this one was, because
Yeah.
this is 1 in 4,000. And Geodude's scary because self-destruct for
Right.
one, and magnitude and earthquake
Mm-hmm.
hits all enemies. So the shiny Geodude was the last one of the
Mm-hmm.
5. So he was the last to go to like use a move.
Yeah.
So I was like, there's no way I'm getting this. He's gonna die, absolutely. Not my fault whatsoever. And I was my Venusaur, and I had no moves that only hit one target. And because it's a horde thing, you have to kill every other Pokemon before you can catch a single one, which is so annoying. But and so I switched to Dragon Air, I think, so I could kill them all one at a time. So I switch, and they all use their moves, right? So I think the second one used Magnitude, and it was Magnitude 5, and it hit everyone. Did not kill anyone yet, though, so didn't one shot everyone. And then the next Geodude used Magnitude 8, I think, and killed 2 of the other Geodude, but not the shiny one. But he was nearly dead.
Yeah.
And then the fourth Geodude used Rock Throw. Thank God. And then the shiny Geodude, the last one, used Magnitude.
Yeah.
Magnitude 9, and killed every other Geodude. So just the shiny was standing. It could not have been luckier.
Nice.
I did nothing, and he killed the other Geodude, so I just caught him. I threw one luxury ball, I think, and caught him first try.
Nice.
Absolutely amazing. And I named him Pyrite, which is Fool's Gold.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was just a very fitting name for him. So that was really cool. That was insane. Totally super lucky. So yeah, 2 random shinies. That was fun. While grinding stuff. Yep, that's where I'm at right now. So I did all the hard ones basically. I got all the friendship evolutions out of the way. You know, I did some trade evolutions, stuff like that. So yeah, it's just the grind basically now. So won't be too long. So once I'm done with that, I'm gonna play Alpha Sapphire. Play through that. I traded over some good Pokemon. Like I traded over a Politoed and a Gengar
Yeah.
to use in Alpha Sapphire, just to buff up, that playthrough a little bit, make it a little easier.
Yeah.
So, yep, I'll get those exclusive Pokemon, and we'll go from there. So
Nice.
not bad. It's gonna happen. It's been really fun, honestly.
Yeah.
So I really like that collecting aspect of it. So, yep, it's been good.
Very cool.
That's what I'm doing. What are you up to? That's it, huh?
Mostly, yeah. I've been really thinking about like what do I want to play next?
Yeah.
Because I've got this pile of games waiting, and
backlog.
I'm endeavoring to actually get through my backlog,
Yeah.
and not just have it sit there and wait for years.
It's mostly like PS4 games.
It is mostly PS4 games,
Yeah.
thanks to Otis,
Yeah.
because at least
Very
like
true.
8 of those are games I didn't own before. So
I got you Ghost of Tsushima, so
Oh, that's true.
which I think you'll like a lot. By the way,
Yeah, I think I will.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got 3 Dark Souls games plus Bloodborne. I've got 3 Borderlands games, and one of them is a collection, so it's actually multiple games in one.
Yep.
And then
Messed up.
I have the Devil May Cry collection. I have Ghost of Tsushima, Sekiro.
Yeah. Speaking of, yeah. Of course, Sekiro was much harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got all of those, but also for 360, I've got Dragon Age Origins, I've got
that's right,
Fallout
yeah.
3, and I've got Assassin's Creed, the first one, which I never actually finished.
Yeah.
I got
that's
pretty
funny.
far, but I just never actually finished the very
funny.
end of it.
Oh, on my Steam, I have Fallout 3 Game of the Year edition. So I have it on Steam. So
Nice.
I might play that also.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, look at all my Steam games. I had a lot more than I
Yeah.
remembered.
I know you've never been much of an RTS person, but you should get
It's true. It's true.
Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition.
Yeah.
Because we could very easily play, and we can team up and fight against the computers. And
Yeah. Destroy the Mongols. It's great.
yeah, just be the be the Mongols
Or
with
be the
Mongudai.
Mongols.
Yeah, Mongudai.
Heck yeah. Nice.
Yeah, that would be fun. And especially if you make them really easy, then you can just wipe the floor with them. And
Yeah.
that's always really fun.
It is fun.
You get lots of time to build up that
Yeah.
way, and
I remember doing that in
they aren't very
the
aggressive.
Star Wars RTS.
Yes.
We played.
Galactic Battlegrounds.
That was fun. I actually enjoyed Halo Wars too.
Yeah,
Back in the day too. So
yeah, that was an interesting
yeah,
game.
it was fun. It was great building scarabs that just wiped out everything. As the Covenant.
Yeah.
I like doing that.
Yeah, that's pretty much one of the most fun things, especially when you're younger, about playing RTS, is
just
building up a lot of the really big, powerful unit.
Just wiping
and
out stuff
Yeah, watching
because you
it
feel
wipe things
powerful
out. Like the AT-ATs in Galactic Battlegrounds.
for sure.
In Age of Empires, it'd be like the
car that you hack in.
well, that too, but just the like the Mongudai if you're the Mongols, or
Like trebuchets, I don't know.
yeah, trebuchets,
assuming.
onagers, siege onagers. If you get enough of those going, you just mow
Yeah.
down a whole wave of troops, and then spamming pummels to wipe out all their walls and destroy all their buildings.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, dude. Speaking of wiping out stuff, it reminds me of just another Pokemon thing. Because I had a game I could trade with, I could actually use Pokemon that trade evolution,
Yeah,
which I don't get to do very often. And so I used a Kingdra in my main team, and Kingdra is busted, dude.
yeah,
So not only is it like 535 base stat total, I think, something like that, and its stats are pretty even. So like they're just really high and even,
yeah.
and so you can go for physical or special attack and everything. And Water Dragon is like an insane type combination.
Yeah.
It's only weak to Dragon and Fairy. Like
And so pre-Gen 6,
insane.
it was
Only
yeah.
weak to Dragon, yeah. And so, and obviously I just wouldn't use it against a Fairy type because I'm not stupid.
Right.
And so it's pretty safe. Like just the way the water gets rid of the ice weakness, and the dragon gets rid of the grass weakness and electric weakness. Like having a water type that's not weak to grass or electric is kind of insane, basically. So
Imagine
yeah.
if you had a Kingdra with like a poison Terra type or something. So when
Yeah.
a fairy comes in, you just pop
Heck
your
yeah.
Terra type,
Exactly.
Terra orb, and then suddenly you're resistant
think-
to that too.
is Seadra in Scarlet Violet? I don't think it is.
I don't think it is. No.
No, because yeah, that would be really, really good actually. So DLC maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe DLC. Yeah. Oh, I should talk about Zelda.
Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom is
so-
coming soon.
Tears of the Kingdom is very soon. It's only like 6 weeks away, I think. May 12th, day after my birthday. Mario movie's coming out on your birthday.
Nico, you're like, day after my birthday, just saying. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
True. Actually, I want the Tears of the Kingdom Pro controller more than the game.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'll make the game happen. I might use store credit or something.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind.
I'll keep that in mind.
There's
I
a-
did just drop $2,000 on my teeth, but I'll
True.
keep that in mind anyway.
But yeah, there's a new Switch OLED and controller and case that's all coming out. That's all Tears of the Kingdom themed. That's pretty cool. And they just put out a like 10-minute video of gameplay, of like real gameplay. And so we got to see some real stuff. And it's very, very interesting. So first off, it looks and feels like Breath of the Wild. Like it looks like the same engine basically,
yeah,
right?
which would make sense.
Yeah. And so like mini map with the like the weather and stuff, that's all the same. Like interface wise, it feels like Breath of the Wild, but the look is a little different. Like the scenery looks a little different, which is kind of cool. And so they showed off some of the abilities, I guess you'd say.
Okay.
And you do use your like messed up hand. We don't really know the story around that, but Link can use his hand to do stuff instead of the Sheikah Slate. And so the first ability that they showed off was called Fuse, where you can just fuse anything to anything.
Oh no.
Okay.
That'll be interesting.
So he grabbed a stick, right?
Uh-huh.
And he fought a new enemy. They're called constructs, and they're like weird, like magic mechanical looking things.
Okay.
And he fought it with like a tree branch, and the branch broke as usual. So durability is the same.
Yeah.
But then he went over to like a rock, and he picked up another stick, and he fused the rock to the stick. And so now there's just a big boulder on this stick, and now the stick is more powerful. They called it a makeshift hammer, I think is what he said.
Yeah.
And so now it's more powerful and more durable because it's a rock stick, not just a stick. And we're like, okay, weird. And then he went and picked up a really long stick, like there's longer sticks.
Right.
And he fused it with a pitchfork. And he made a super long pitchfork.
Nice.
And so he was stabbing stuff from like a mile away. Like the possibilities
I
are
can't wait
endless.
to see how people exploit that to do just the stupidest
They're going to do the
things.
most insane things in the world. And so that's just weapons. You can fuse stuff to shields and arrows and all these things. And so they showed off some arrows. They fused a Keese eyeball to an arrow. And then they shot the arrow near an enemy, and it went and just homed right in on it.
Nice.
Because it has an eyeball. So it just homes to enemies. I'm like, that's so brilliant. That's so cool. Okay. And instead of just finding an ice arrow, you just attach a frost chew jelly to your arrow, and now it's a frost arrow.
Nice.
Stuff like that, right? Super cool. He fused a mushroom to a shield, which was very funny. But it's a new mushroom called like a puff shroom or something. And so he held it out, and when an enemy hit it, it like exploded in smoke. And now the enemy can't see you.
Nice.
And so he walked around it and did a sneak strike behind it. I was like, that's so cool. Okay. So yeah, possibilities are endless basically with this, right? And then the other one was called like Ultra Hand, I think is what it was called. Something like that. Where you can just pick stuff up like magnesis, but you can pick up anything.
Yeah.
So like logs and stuff. And he fused 3 logs together. And then he put 2 fans on the edge of the logs. And then he put that makeshift raft in a body of water and hit the fans to turn them on. And now he has a like hovercraft that he just crafted essentially. And so you can craft rafts and cars and flying machines and whatever.
That's
so
awesome.
like, yeah. So not only weapons, but vehicles you can just create anything out of anything.
Nice.
You could probably drive a rock around like SpongeBob did, like the pioneers.
The pioneers used to ride these babies for miles.
So you can ride babies for miles. The last 2, really cool. One of them is called like Ascend, I think, where if you're anywhere with a ceiling,
Yeah.
so like in a cave or something, you can ascend through the ceiling basically to get to the top of a mountain
Oh, okay.
from the bottom of the mountain.
Huh.
So you just can skip climbing basically. Just magic your way through the ceiling instead of having to climb the whole outside of a mountain. So movement possibilities endless there also.
Yeah.
And then the last thing was like reverse, I think it was called, something like that. Because there's all these like sky islands now. There's like a bunch of things in the sky. He watched a big rock fall from one of the things. He ran over to the rock, got on top of it, and then reversed time on the rock which brought him up to the Sky Island. Very cool.
Sounds like they're making it a little easier to get around.
Yes, it does seem like that. And so now you're just on the Sky Island. And paragliders, still a thing. I don't know if they've changed it at all, but they only showed it off as normal. And so that was the big show, right? Was all these new abilities that you have. Insanely cool. Like, the game was already so customizable. Now it's like ultra customized. Let's see, what else did they show? There was some like symbols and stuff on things that were like, what is that? You know, there's some new words that they didn't really talk about that are weird. Like, they keep mentioning the Zonai, which seems like an ancient race of something, maybe something like that. You briefly saw a glimpse of a Korok walking around with a big backpack. Everyone's talking about him because he's a big old backpack. Let's see. I think that's about it from what I remember. But yeah, that's it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things. That's gonna be a wild game. I can't wait to make weird things.
Yeah.
This is the Master Sword with a bunch of steak on it. This is my meat sword.
Yeah, I want to see everybody's like really stupid creations.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, this has no practical purpose. I just wanted to see what I could
Isn't
put
it
together.
cool? Yeah. Yeah, everyone's talking about meat arrows.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I want a meat arrow. Heck yeah. So that's it. That's what we got so far. But I mean, obviously it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Like, duh, it's gonna be a great game. So yeah.
We've already changed topics a few times, but
Yes.
I'm going to go back
Let's
to an
change
earlier
back.
topic.
Snap back to reality.
You were talking about a few things in X and Y and I distinctly remember because in like 2011, 2012-ish, around when that game came out, we were getting back into Pokemon, but I had still only played Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver.
Yes.
And I still hadn't played any Gen 3 or Gen 4 games at all. And I remember you talking about some of the like new things in Gen 6 and me going, oh, those are interesting gimmicks.
Yeah.
And just thinking about it that way because it'd been so long. So like kind of everything was new to me now.
Yep.
Because it wasn't really until Sun and Moon that I played a newer Pokemon game.
Yeah, it's like, to me, a lot of Pokemon that were new to me seem like Gen 6 Pokemon because I first saw them in X and Y, even though they're like Gen 4 Pokemon or something. Yeah.
I remember you putting a guitar pick into the control stick to have your character walk in a circle, and you could just set the 3DS down.
Now that's thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you were probably hatching an egg or something. Yeah.
Because in Lumio City, around like the Eiffel Tower, you can just hit left and you'll just continue to go in a circle. Yes, very good for hatching eggs. I have utilized that in this game as well. Yeah. There's a lot you can do, which is cool. I've messed with the berry fields for the first time in this playthrough, where it's exactly what it sounds like. You can grow berries because you don't get a lot of berries in X and Y. They're very few and far between. But you can, with the berry fields, you can get hundreds of berries really quickly.
One thing I've noticed in Black and White, Black 2, White 2 is I feel like all the held items suck.
Oh, okay.
I haven't come. None of my Pokemon are holding any items because none of the items I've picked up have been worth holding.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Which is like,
in this, it's all about held items.
Well, that's the thing is I remember in Gen 6 and later, like held item, every Pokemon on my team had a held item of some sort.
Because you got them early, basically.
Yeah. And in Gen 2, even as far back as Gen 2 is, I would occasionally hold a berry of some sort because there was often a status they could get rid of.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Just have not done held items. I have a lucky egg, so I've been passing that around. But other than that, I haven't really,
Yeah, because of my Pokemon X playthrough, I had a second lucky egg.
Yeah.
Which I moved over to Y, which has been so nice for grinding like these evolutions.
Just get 6 lucky eggs and then
I thought
the
about
whole
it,
team.
but you don't get it for a while. I'd have to play through a lot of the game before I could
Wait,
get another one.
could
So.
you like in a Gen 6 game, if you had 6 lucky eggs plus an EXP share, could you just like stack all that and
Yes,
just get
absolutely.
that'd be great.
Yeah. Yep, that would be amazing. But unfortunately, I should do more wonder trading. I might get a hacked Pokemon with a lucky egg.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mention that through Wonder Trade, I did get a few Pokemon other than fake, mythicals and stuff. Like I got a Chikorita, which is so nice. That like saves me a whole playthrough basically.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna try to Wonder Trade a little more just for a few starters, hopefully.
You know what I think I might do when I play Crystal is start with Chikorita because I've never
Yeah.
started Chikorita.
Every time I play actual Gen 2, I always do the glitch to get all 3 of them.
Yeah.
Because I love all 3 starters.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chikorita is actually my favorite Gen 2 starter now.
Yeah.
I've decided basically because I like Meganium a lot.
Yeah.
And
Cyndaquil
it's not
will
a
always
great
be my
Pokemon.
favorite, but I love Chikorita's whole line. So
Like I love Totodile, but Croconon for Alligator I don't care for that much. So yeah, the whole line wise I like Chikorita.
I guess I have
the
used
best.
Chikorita, but I don't think I ever did a whole playthrough with one. I
Yeah.
think I played enough to get like a Bayleaf and then called it good.
Because I mean, it is the hardest I would say to deal with because its attack and special attack aren't great. It's very defensive.
Well, and one
stuff
thing
like
is
that,
like
but-
if you start Cyndaquil, you're really lacking a good water type for a while.
Yeah, you are.
And if you start Totodile, you're really lacking a good fire type for a while.
Yes, definitely.
And fire become like I don't even bother using fire types in Gen 1 because flying is just as good.
Yeah, for sure.
But once they added steel type, suddenly fire type is much more important and viable.
Definitely. Yep. Yeah, I had let's see, where was I going with that? I was still talking X and Y. Let's see. One thing. I the Mega Evolutions, right? That's the gimmick of Gen 6. And for some reason a lot of people hate it. But a lot of people like it too.
Well, you know
It's
what's
really
funny
weird,
is I
but-
think as these special evolution gimmicks have gone on,
Yeah.
I think people are coming to appreciate how like straightforward and simple Mega Evolution
Yeah,
was. And going,
because-
hey, you know what? Mega Evolution wasn't so bad after
The
all.
thing about Mega Evolution is that it can change a lot. It's not just your stats being buffed
yeah.
because sometimes types change. But the biggest reason I like Mega Evolution is it changes their abilities.
Yeah.
And that can completely change the Pokemon, basically. Because in one in particular, in my X playthrough, I was playing with a Mawile, okay? Which was always a bad Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like when it was pure steel. But in Gen 6, it's Steel Fairy, which is probably the best type combination in the game,
Yeah.
as shown with Tinkaton also. Is just defensively and offensively, it's a fantastic type combination. Like Steel has so many resistances, gets rid of Fairy's poison weakness. Like there's so much good about it. But Mawile's doesn't have great stats, just like Tinkaton basically. But she has an okay attack stat, and I went hard with getting the right nature, so plus attack nature, and maxed out EVs with super training because super training is really easy in X and Y, and so her attack was the highest it could be, and then because I beat my Y playthrough, I could get the Mawile to Mega Evolve her because you can't get it until post game. But I got it in Y and traded it to X so I could use Mega Mawile. And what I didn't know is that Mega Mawile gains the huge power ability.
Nice.
Which, what were they thinking? Like, that's good, but it's too good. Because Mega Mawile's stats are buffed also. So I think her base attack was already like 105 or something. Like, it was already over 100. And then I maxed out all these things, and with huge power, I was only level 60-ish, maybe like 55.
Yeah.
And because of huge power, my attack was almost 500. Literally, like 500. Like between Play Rough and Ironhead, there is not a thing in the game I could not one shot.
Yeah.
Like absolutely absurd, but so cool. Like I am all about it. So yeah, Mawile became a beast. And that's why I love Mega Evolution, like, because that changes quite a bit. Like even Mega Gardevoir gains the Pixelate ability, which is usually unique to Vivillon, the the butterfly thing from X and Y. And Pixelate basically changes moves to Fairy type. Like I think it changes everything to Fairy, and so that can be insane too because you could find anything like use a 120 power move instead of a 90 or whatever, stuff like that. Anyway, I just think it's cool. So
Yeah.
I recently got on my Venusaur. Speaking of good moves, I finally got it to level 50, so it learned Pedal Blizzard, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
There's a lot of those moves, right? Like there's Pedal Dance and there's Pedal, I think, a third one also.
Yeah.
Pedal Blizzard is insane. It's physical rather than special. It's 90 base power, 100% accuracy, hits all enemies on the field. So it's great in horde battles. I can just kill 5 things at once.
Yeah.
No downside whatsoever. There is it doesn't cause you to get confused like Pedal Dance does. It's 100% accuracy. It doesn't lower your attack power or something when you use it. Nope, it's just 100% accuracy. It's every time. It's perfect. It's amazing. So yeah, that's really cool. That's made it, and it's 15 PP too.
Oh wow.
I'm like, what? This move is too good. Like this needs a downside. Like it's insane. Yeah, they really made, like, because with the addition of good poison moves, like Venusaur is really good in this, and you can Mega Evolve it if you want to buff it even further. Like that's what I like about modern Pokemon. I think is that you can make most Pokemon viable.
Yeah.
You can make most things usable, even if they're not great to begin with, because you have access to, super training where you can really EV train. The reason I did the berry fields so much was so I could get all the berries that lower EVs and raise friendship.
Yeah.
There's one for each, stat where it like lowers EVs by 10, I think, of a certain stat and raises friendship quite a bit. So not only are they great for EV training specifically, but that's how I got the friendship evolutions so fast.
Yeah.
Like I had a Zubat in a luxury ball with the Soothe Bell. I used like 10 of these berries on it, and it evolved from Golbat to Crobat in 1 level. Like
Nice.
because it was no problem at all. Like and you just can't do that in like Gen 4 and even Gen 5. You can't do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I think that's why I'll always prefer modern Pokemon. Is just you can just do things.
Yeah.
Like you feel like you have the power to actually change things and move things around to your liking, basically. So yeah, it's been an adventure. So I will update you next episode. Maybe I'll be at 75%. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Hot Kool-Aid. Anyway,
Well,
that's the podcast, I think.
yep. All right. do the Twitter thing.
I guess. Do the Twitter
thing.
Yo, do the Twitter thing. Go to our Twitter, I guess. Oh,
That's
you want me to say what it is? Oh, it's at the Brothers G Pod on Twitter. Go check us out. We tweet things sometimes.
You can also check out our subreddit, r/Brothers Game Podcast.
Go to the YouTube, watch an old episode.
Yeah.
How about that? Re-listen to all of the Brothers Game. Really build up your Pokemon knowledge. How about that? Yes. Give us a download on every podcast platform so we know you're there. Really helps us out. We like those analytics. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We're over 700 downloads.
Very cool.
Total.
Hey,
So
that's not nothing.
Thank y'all.
Thank you all so much. That's not zero.
Yep.
I believe it's getting higher and higher all the time,
Yep.
especially as we start, streaming or something. Maybe. Maybe. Uh-oh. All right. Bye.
Bye.